What's up, everybody? Off-Centered Leonard here, and it is a Monday night, and the purpose of this video is to do a response to Sammy Thunder's how I curate my showcases. He did a chill-in chat a little over a week ago, and I was in the chat, and we were just kind of going back and forth, and he had mentioned something about wanting to, pick my brain about a couple things, which he was Sammy, you got my number. You can text me, call me, whatever. If you got any questions on anything, I'd be glad to answer them for you. But uh, you know, you're gonna have to go check his video out, and then obviously, if you haven't already, and then obviously I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on that. But he basically talked about how he curates, procures cards, what he does as far as building his showcase inventory, and setting up kind of like part-time. At shows he's got a full-time job, and he is crossing to the other side of the table, which is awesome to see. But before I get into any of that, I just I don't know if Sammy gets the full credit that he deserves as far as kind of really just going to the shows, spending all that time going to the shows and you know showing what the shows are about, giving his thoughts. I mean, he's been to enough of the bigger shows, and even some of the smaller shows too, and featuring dealers and really just creating it almost being like a liaison in between collectors, because he's got his collectors community that is on YouTube and friends of the show and things like that. And then he has gotten to know a lot of dealers very well, including myself, and I consider Sammy a very good friend. And I'm one of the dealers that he will feature in some of his videos, which I am very, very thankful for. It's for me, it works because I'm a very transparent person for the most part. Um, there's some things I got to keep close to my chest, like some of the secrets I got to keep a little, but I'm very open about stuff. And in but what Sammy does is he kind of helped break down barriers a little bit. I think a lot of people see it at the Strongsville show. I haven't been out there, but like, his relationships with the dealers and his relationships with collectors, it really kind of just, I'm not saying he's the exact reason, because I think that, he's a big piece in a big machine. But he really just put in a lot of time and effort into making the videos and shooting the videos and using some of the old technology when it was harder to upload onto YouTube. And I give him a lot of credit for that. And thank you, Sammy, for all of that, and also for being a good friend. I mean, there's plenty of times where he's come by my tables and he's seen stuff for customers where he basically brokered a deal. He didn't even take a cut or anything. He just did it just out of the kindness of wanting to make that connection between somebody who wasn't even at the show and somebody like myself who was set up. And I just think that's so cool. So but that is going to kind of segue into, if you saw the thumbnail, it's kind of a weird thing, right? So it's me and Sammy hanging out, and you see a pyramid in the background. Okay, that's not meant for pyramid scheme. Okay, I look at being a dealer and being a dealer for a very long time in this industry, as a representative of your time and effort, layering your foundations of relationships. If you want to jump on the other side of the table, you can. But lots of times people are gonna fail. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I mean, you could talk to Leighton, Sheldon. Did he make mistakes, buying mistakes? Yes, absolutely. It's what happens. Nobody's gonna ever nail this perfect, because it's such a soft scienced, I've used that term before, industry. It's not backed. It's not like precious metals, right? So it just comes down to you having product. if you have a fair price, chances are you're going to sell it. But you know, but it's not, it could take you a lot of time to sell that item. So anyways, the first layer of the pyramid is, uh, you know, all the hard work, you know, and you make a certain amount of money by layering, stretching out as wide as you can to create that foundation, that base, all the relationships, you know, and all the, you know, potential deals and the things that you go through, setting up at shows, you know, figuring things out, pivoting, does what works, throwing stuff against the wall, right? So ideally, on your next level, when you level up, you want to make either the same or more money with less work. Okay, so because the pyramid goes up this way, right? If you're looking at one dimensionally. So, and also with the, you know, there's many different facets in the business too. I mean, there's the autograph part of the industry, there's the card part of the industry. So you can definitely spin it in different ways. But we'll just keep it simple. So, so every time you layer up, technically you should be doing less work and either making the same money or more money until you get to the top. And there's going to be a lot of stuff when you get to the top or the middle to the top that you just don't waste your time because you recognize how much time it's going to take to maybe get through something, you know. So I'm at that point where I'm kind of like in the middle of the pyramid, and you know, there are deals that I get offered to me that I just know the time isn't, like, I can buy this and it's going to be a better fit for me because I know how long it's going to take. And that is the reason why there's binary code in the background. So trying to keep to the theme of how I curate my showcases, for me, it's buying collections. It's the best way to do it. It took me 30 years to figure out, and also building all the relationships. That's part of it. That is part of lead generation. So you get referrals if you treat people right. I'll buy collections, and I have my outs. I've set up over the years all the outs to break down the collections and efficiently move through everything. So if you have gotten a gift pack from me, or if you bought them from me on Whatnot, I always send these ad cards out that have QR codes for everything that I do. So, you know, I'll sell bargain box cards on Whatnot. I have my website on here that gives you the event schedule for where I'm going to set up at shows. So if you want to see showcase stuff, which we're going to talk about in a second, you know, you can always see if I'm going to be in Enfield or Orange in Connecticut, or if I'm set up at the Philly show, which I'm setting up every single Philly show. Would love to get on the waiting list for Strongsville. I still got to kind of figure that out. Maybe I'll set up in 2 years from now, maybe just go as a spectator next year. But when it comes to like all the bulk stuff, I encourage people to go to the Waterbury Auction Gallery, which is an Auction Ninja platform. And all of that stuff, like all the sets, factory sets, overproduced era stuff, even stuff from the early 80s, like an 82 Topps, I'll send it down there. Bobblehead dolls, you know, framed items, signed items that, you know, are tough. Now I'm saying this, I think I explained this in almost the last video, but so I kind of call that like the bottom hard stuff that, you know, don't get me wrong, I could sell bobblehead dolls on eBay, but the time to shoot, pack, and ship, I can use my time in a better, I can go out and try to find another collection. That's where I'm getting at. So I don't want a whole shelf of hard to pack, you got to get the bubble wrap and all that stuff. I'd rather just send it down there where there's a huge local following, and people could pick up and save on shipping. So that is my out for that stuff. Then you have like the bargain box stuff, which I do a lot on Whatnot. I bring some bargain boxes to the shows. That kind of takes care of itself. The showcase stuff, you know, I've leaned into using eBay and the shows. I am going to start listing some of my better showcase cards on eBay because I don't have another show, like big show, until the Philly show, so which is September. So I don't mind kind of double dipping in that sense and getting stuff up and having stuff just sell and circulate. And so, but there's a difference between what you want to put in your showcase and what you want to sell on eBay. So like a perfect non-showcase card that's a great card for eBay is this 61 Topps high number Roger Craig that's in really nice shape. I think it's a $30 retail card roughly. You know, it's crease free, really nice shape, Roger Craig, right? So if I put that on my showcase, it's always going to be there. Unless if somebody's trying, they need that card, like the last card in the set, it's never going to sell. I know this from experience. I mean, yes, if you have a stack of 61 high numbers that you let build up over time, but why? I can get the $30 or $25 or whatever it is for this pretty quickly on eBay if I just list it into my eBay store. Same thing with like white letter, 69 tops cards. Perfect eBay card. Not a great showcase card. Even though these are very desirable, 73 tops high number checklist, which are sneaky cards, you can try to find them in dollar boxes. Worse condition ones sell for $15 that are checked and creased. Nicer condition ones, like this one's probably a VGX to X card. This is probably $30, $40 potentially. So, I just know when I break stuff down that that's where that goes. Now, let's get to the showcase stuff. The showcase stuff is what everybody wants, right? Hall of Fame rookie cards in, decent shape, presentable shape. All the top Hall of Famers, certain autographs, whatever. And so that is typically what's left over. And what's nice is I can, when I walk into a room or to a collection situation, a lot of times people are like, well, I kind of get this, and I'm keeping a poker face not because of, I'm not trying to show overexcitement. I will give credit where credit is absolutely due. I'm like, wow, you did a really great job putting this together, and I'll say things like that and mean it. But what I'm doing is I'm actually breaking everything down in my head like binary code. So if I see, autographs on the wall, I know I know immediately, oh, okay, this, he's got a Derek Jeter Steiner, 16 by 20 on there. That's a buy at $225. He's got, he's got a Mickey Mantle. The autograph doesn't look good. I bet he's got a store cert in the back. Turn around, it's got a store cert in the back. My dad got that in person. Well, I'll tell you what, you keep that. Happy for your dad, but, I'm not going to be able to take that. I'm not going to be able to resell it. It just looks not good enough where it's going to pass authentication. Yeah, Mickey Mantle. And then, what do you pay for a 59 tops near complete set that's got near mint commons and a mixed array of grades of stars, right? He's going to go, well, the book value is this. And I got to break it down, as far as like, what you pay per card, say for the common stars and then the big Hall of Famers, you really got to look at. You got to pull the mantle out. Is there a crease in the mantle? Is there all that stuff? So I'm breaking everything down and just throwing prices on everything, while he's like, don't you think this is great? I'm like, are you not entertained? And it's like, no, the collection is great, but I see so many of them that I just have to make sure that I'm on my game as far as pricing it out. If you're not a dealer yet, buying a collection, right, a house collection, or even if you get turned on to, say, like a dealer that's selling out or something like that, because I run across that often. Not often, but, here and there. It's a little tricky. I would say we're kind of entering almost like a chicken and an egg scenario. Because if you're out looking for collections, you got to ask yourself, obviously the goal is to make money, right? But if you treat that person wrong, meaning that you're coming in with low offers or you don't know how to buy the collection, okay? Because you could look everything up and look at sold listings. Like if you just spent a whole day, and then let's say there was a whole office full of stuff, and you spent a whole day and you looked everything up and you figured out, you still might buy the collection wrong because you don't understand the time applied it's going to take to sell through the stuff. So that's the other thing that I look at. I look at, packing, shipping materials. I look at the time it takes to do everything. I also factor in fees, eBay fees, show fees, right? So, I mean, it's not cheap to set up at the Philly show, but it's worth, it's absolutely worth doing. But those are all things I have to factor in. So, but the chicken and the egg thing is like, well, my advice would be make sure that you have selling outs, whether you're buying a collection or whether you're doing what Sammy's doing, which is You know, picking out really nice, you know, cards with good eye appeal, centered cards, just cards with great appeal, right? That's basically so vintage cards with great appeal. Make sure you have selling out set up. If you're not willing to sell on eBay because you're worried about the 13% fees and then, you know, potentially a 1099, if you're not willing to do whatnot, if you're not, it's going to be tough because you can't really give the respect of the collection, you know, to the collection and to the person that's willing to sell it, right? If you walk in there and you're kicking tires and you're doing in this day and age when the competition out there is really thick, you're not going to get very far and you're going to end up wasting your own time. You're going to become frustrated and you're going to piss people off. You're never going to get a referral if you come walk in and go, well, what do you think? What do you got to get in this whole office of stuff that's worth tens of thousands of dollars? You want $500? Like, that's not going to happen in today's world. It happened 15 years ago when the market was, you know, in its worst state and, you know, things were 20 times cheaper, and selling nowhere near against what the stuff kind of was worth. So, I mean, you could have $100 card and, you know, depending on who's on eBay that day, you might only get 70, $60 for it. You're not getting that $90 to $100 for it. Same thing with the shows, you know, it's like whoever had money back then that was buying won, you know? So, but, so yeah, so treating people fairly is huge when it comes to doing that, and you will get referrals. And even like, I mean, because I put in the time and the work, like I'm known for in my graduating class from high school, like, oh, my uncle, you know, is retiring and, you know, he's got a huge collection, Lenny, like you're the man, I trust you, I see your post, like, you know, I see your reviews, I see this and that, like, those are all important things. So, but going back to the chicken and egg thing, if it's also hard to get inventory, you know, it's like, I'm suggesting like, you know, get your selling things in order first, but if you don't have inventory to sell, it's kind of tough, right? So that's where we're at with the chicken and the egg, analogy. But anyways, so, and for myself, I mean, I feel like I am kind of like, when it comes to dealers, I would look at myself as like, I don't know if you guys are any wrestling fans or whatever, but back in the 90s, there was a wrestler named Diamond Dallas Page, DDP Yoga and stuff like that. And he was the WCW's version of the People's Champion. So when it comes to being a dealer, I kind of pride myself on being that I have dealers that buy from me. I've got great customers that buy from me. I'm not really looking, I'm not a guy, there's different ways to be a dealer to get inventory. You could be a guy that's walking the show that's looking to buy nice cards, try to get a good deal on them, or even if you don't get a great deal on them and you just know that the card is going to sell for more than what the guy has it because you're setting that kind of stage in your showcases. That's one way to do it, and that's totally fine. I am like, if you know, I pretty much work with everybody. I'm kind of like, you know, I don't give out the same tier of discounts. I mean, obviously, the more you spend, I mean, I'll take, you know, a little extra off or whatever. But, you know, I try to be very fair and understand that it is cardboard. It is supposed to be fun. And I don't like pulling teeth. I don't like being super granular. And yeah, I just want people to say yes. Hey, yes, I got a good deal from Off-Centered Leonard. That's all. And the only way I can do that really is for me, and from what I've experienced, is to buy collections that have, you know, really nice upside to it, you know, whether it's, you know, you get to grade some cards out of it, or you know, they're, I don't know, high numbers buried in the back, but you spent thousands of dollars with the person, and some stuff spilled out of it, and it worked out in your favor, a little bit extra, and that happens, you know. So now, I'm not going to leave you guys totally hanging. I just like Sammy is using his own technology to recognize, you know, trends and stuff like that. I am going to throw you guys out just a little tip. I am going to start putting out videos very soon about, you know, being a dealer, collecting, and investing. So I have what I call like a hold box or an investment box. And what I've noticed is this, and I'm going to use this as an analogy. Take a 68, a 66, a 68, a 69 tops playing days base Mickey Mantle card. And that card in a 1 sells for $135 to $150. Okay, and like in a PSA 1 or an SGC 1, it's roughly what it's going for. What I'm looking at is 60s and even late 50s, early oddball stuff and base playing cards or all-star cards of Clemente, Mays, Aaron, Koufax. I think that's it. Pretty much those guys. If you guys see that stuff under $100 today, it's a buy. It's a buy and a hold. And I'm going to show you some examples. I left some of the stickers on, but here's a really, it's a sharp 62 tops all-star Willie Mays. Okay, it's got a $60 sticker on it. I probably paid $50 for it. It does have like a little impression there, so it's going to be a VGX technical grade. But the card presents very well. And what's happening is, if that Mickey Mantle, and I'm not, you know, discrediting or discounting, you know, the Mick is still, you know, cornerstone of the hobby. I get it, but these guys are going to eventually end up getting pulled up in these kind of cards. So even this, like, this is sometime we're going to look back at this and go, wow, a 67 tops low grade Hank Aaron for $20. Like, I'm not saying that's going to be a $100 card at some point, but it's definitely going to be worth more than 20. No doubt about it. I look at the post serial cards. These are like $20. These are like $20. I can't even put those out in the showcase because they're so cheap. We're talking about playing days. Okay, maybe not tops, but it was a tops image of Hank Aaron. Mickey Mantle, hardly sold at $50. Not selling it, putting it away. I got this off half off. I paid basically $20 for this VGX Hank Aaron Sporting News All-Star. That is all day long, and that is a hold. You know, I look at some hockey stuff and, you know, just some O-Pee-Chee Bobby Orr. That might be like a $25 or $30 card. It's way too cheap. One of the greatest hockey players. 70s hockey is like, there's not a lot to get excited over, minus the Gretzky rookie and some of the Orr stuff or whatever. That's an OP. That's a 71 O-Pee-Chee Orr, 71 O-Pee-Chee Gordie Howe, and these are like the high numbers out of there. Here's a, you know, crease-free Joe Namath. Again, iconic player. I mean, these cards are only getting older and older from that early 70s stuff. How about, I can't even put this on in my showcase. Whatever the value is, $40, $50 for a Mays exhibit, so I'll just hold it. Same thing with, like, you know, the Topps Giants. I think in, you know, crease-free sharp Clemente is like $50, $60. It's way too cheap. 64 tops. Get upset about this stuff. Then I look at, you know, I look at nice, like, I look at what's happening with the top tier, you know, 30s, 40s, and 50s guys and their playing days cards. All right, 59 Fleer Ted Williams set, right? Okay, yeah, it's not everybody's favorite set, but there are some really beautiful cards in that set. And I just, like, I can't even put the price on that and put it in my showcase because it's just too cheap. Whatever it is, it's too cheap. I'm telling you that right now. Same thing with, like, with what's going on with Babe Ruth, right? I showed the 54 Top Scoops Ruth in the last thing, but this is an awesome artistic rendition of the Bambino. This card is absolutely beautiful. You know, same thing with Garrick. You know, I can't put that on my showcase now. What am I going to get? $40 for that? And the cost of grading is going to be $40 in 3 months. Then probably not, but But you get where I'm going with that. And so that is my tip for you guys. Use the analogy of what Mantl's doing. I would focus on those 4 guys and just start like a sponge. Just if you have extra money, just even if you're not looking to become a dealer, and you just are like, you know, what can I put some, that is a guarantee that's going to be a trend that's going to, you're going to see all 60s playing days, oddball, all-star cards, whatever, all that stuff is going to keep rising. So that's all I got. So it's very long-winded, my apologies, but definitely worth talking about. I tried not to go into the weeds, but okay, I'm going to just interject here really quick because I edited and watched the video, and I'm like, okay, I really didn't give a good explanation with the binary code. I touched upon it, but basically I could walk into a massive collection and pretty much have a good gauge and price it out very, very quickly with all of the things I had discussed before attached to it. So meaning like I could figure out what the buy price is, what the wholesale price is, what it's going to retail out extended pretty quickly. And it's just, I just read it like code. And that is all from the years of experience of buying hundreds of, hundreds if not thousands collections. So, and that only comes with time and experience, but that is the reason why there's a backdrop of binary code behind the pyramids. So with that, we'll just get back. But like I said, keep your eyes out for future videos of mine, and go check out Sammy Thunder's video if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys very soon. Thanks, guys.